Here we go, guys, from the Rancho here in Santa Rosa, California. It is another week. Vegas Rosie returns with this week's college and pro football picks. I knew last week there's something always about week number 4 in college football. It's a lot of trap games and things, and your Rosie girl got trapped up a little bit, not in a major way. 3-3 in college football on the weekend, and the first and only bet that we made on pro ball, well, we drank the Kool-Aid and we had the Chiefs. Come on, I was square when it came to that, right? Drank the Kool-Aid and the Chiefs playing in Indianapolis, and of course the kickers couldn't kick shit. The punt return guy couldn't catch shit. Balls bouncing off. Jesus, man, grab your nuts and let's get into the next week here. We want to run down really quick college football. I want to tell you the way I'm leaning, and then I'm going to tell you the picks that I'm thinking about this week. Overall, 14-9 going into week 4 of pro ball and week 5 when it comes to college. Let's go ahead and queue up these college games that we got here. Let's see, NCAA odds we got going on here. Let's get over to DraftKings here. And we have I don't know how, it's going to be kind of tough. Utah State on a Friday night here, Thursday night coming up. 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 o'clock on the East Coast. This is the first time, really, that the NCAA is testing the water to see how well they can do against football on Thursday night, which is on, of course, Amazon Prime, I believe. And if the ratings for college football turn out to be better than the ratings for Amazon Prime in the pro game, NCAA is going to be out there crowing. We're the number 1 watch football events on media this year, and there may be something to that. We are America's game. We don't have the parity, which makes it a lot more exciting, but there is some parity creeping in. But we do have Utah State going to BYU, and Utah State is getting 24 points in that game. Now, I've looked at the Utah State players. BYU has come down in my ratings a little bit. It just seems like they're out of synchronization a little bit. They're a good team, don't get me wrong. But can they afford to give 24 points away and come out of it? I don't know. Because if you look at Utah State, if they can just cure the Butterfingers, giving the ball away, and the interceptions a zillion times. Just keep the damn ball on the ground, man. Okay? Don't piss it away. If they can just cut down the turnovers that always result in points and things, I think that they can keep this game within 24 points. And I think the sharp bet is to take Utah State here and the 24 points. Grab your nuts, hold on, and hope for the best in that game. BYU, I don't really think they're a school that really gives a crap about whether they cover spreads or not. You got Tulane at Houston here. Houston 2.5 is rolling along pretty good. You got that Friday to 7 p.m. game on the East Coast. University of Texas San Antonio going to Middle Tennessee. Taking Middle Tennessee's getting 4 points there. I don't really have a feel for that. I can't get excited about some of this. Sorry, if you live there, don't be a hater, okay? Don't send the hate mail. San Diego State at Boise State. Boise State looked like absolute horse shit last week. Okay, I tell you, I've never been so disappointed in a team as I am in Boise State this year. San Diego State is getting 6 points to go in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if they covered that. And I wouldn't be surprised even more if they were to win the game in Boise. Washington, marquee game, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. The Washington Huskies It's a mid-Atlantic pronunciation, are going into UCLA in the Rose Bowl. Now, I know people have been talking about there's nobody showing up for the games in the Rose Bowl. They'll be putting bums from the street in there to fill up the seats. Let me tell you, okay, at 50 cents a bum to get in the door and watch the game. They'll have 35,000 people in the Rose Bowl for this one because the Huskies come to town. And, you know, if you're Pac-12, like I'm kind of the last 25 years, you get your ass kicked all the time, right, Cal? These teams by Washington State. Washington State is coming in as a favorite, -3. You can kind of see that on there. I'm not sure UCLA's schedule. Yeah, they played Colorado. Yeah. Washington has already played Stanford, and I don't think Stanford is as bad as they're looking on paper right now. So take that for what it's worth. I'll come back. It's one of my bets that I got rolling down this week. But I do favor the Huskies going into, I think it's kind of going to be a statement game. They're both 4-0. But I do think that there's a difference between Chip Kelly's UCLA and the Huskies. I'm sorry, hate me. I think the Huskies just hit a little harder. They have better play calling. I think the defense is a little better. Yeah, I know UCLA's got a hellacious 200 yards per game running attack. I don't know how that's going to fly against the Huskies this week. And if they have to go airborne, it could be a little problematic. It ain't Colorado coming to town, okay? New Mexico at UNLV. New Mexico is getting 14.5. It's a disastrous program in there. Okay, don't. You know, I'm not gonna torture them anymore. I think that UNLV takes this one. It's a 14.5 point spread there. Illinois, Wisconsin. This is really something I got to wrap my head around because Illinois, they've been my team. I've loved Illinois this year. They really turned it around. They're looking good. They barely lost to Indiana in the earlier this year. Played their guts out, but they're gone into Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's getting 7 points. This could be a potential upset alert here because Wisconsin is kind of stung coming off that ass kicking by Ohio State. I mean, you know, I'm talking about, you know, I'm the one that's crowing like, oh, this is the new and improved. Oh, Wisconsin, please kick our ass today. And it just turned out to be a disaster. So this is going home, and I don't know, they might be a little discombobulated, trying to think about where their program sits in the scheme of things. It could be an upset alert if you're taking 7 points with Illinois. I think you could do worse for yourself this weekend. Michigan laying 11 points against Iowa. This is supposed to be a very under 42 points. I kind of wonder about, you know, Iowa's got a great defense, but you know, I watched the Michigan-Maryland game. Was not super overawed with the defense of Michigan. I'm going to lay off that game. I really don't think. I think it's going to be. I think Iowa's got a great chance of covering that spread there. Oklahoma, TCU. Oklahoma, good team, but they're 6.5 points. They're laying. TCU. No, this is one of the games I'm going to bet, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. TCU is a flying under the radar screen right now, and Oklahoma is getting all the headlines and things. 6.5 points is a little rich in there, so take that for what it is. I have a little more to say about that. I've looked at a lot of the bids from the games and things. And I think TCU is pretty hard-hitting, pretty organized, pretty together football squad. Let's talk about that in a little bit. Purdue and Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, one of my beautiful golden teams of 2022. I love this team. This team gets it done. And their offense is a powerhouse, but what people are talking about is how well their defense is playing in 2022. And Purdue's coming to town. I'm not anti-Boilermaker, but boil me up, man. I think these guys are going to be crabs in the pot when it gets there in Minnesota. That place is going to be rocking, and I think Minnesota's just going to enjoy beatdown Saturday. There, 12 points is a lot to cover, but we've seen Minnesota as a powerhouse when it comes to putting up points. Kentucky and Ole Miss, another game I'm going to be taking. Ole Miss is laying 6.5 here on Kentucky. Somehow or another, Kentucky just is still not getting the respect of the program. I watched some video and things, and yeah, I'm not entirely sold on them, but I am pretty sold on Ole Miss here, and they just seem to be a well-oiled. Another one is flying below the radar screen. And I watched some of their games, and they just seem to. I just don't see any weakness on the team. Does that mean that they're going to cover? Maybe not. I don't know. Louisville going to Boston College. I would have thought that this would be a little looser line. Louisville's laying 15.5 against BC. Malik Cunningham is really starting to come into his own here. I mean, I can envision where they just run all over top of Boston College and make for a really shitty game at home in early October for Boston College, and a pretty disastrous year for that program. Texas Tech and K-State. Texas Tech is 8 points here. You're getting 8 points with Texas Tech. They've been playing tough as hell. Okay, so take that into mind. Temple, Memphis. I don't give a shit, man. Okay. Sorry, Memphis. Sorry, Temple. Navy, Air Force by 14. I can see them doing the job on there, but I don't know if they're going to cover. Right? It's hard to get a feel for Navy this year. Georgia State at Army. I think Army's 7.5 points are laying there. I think that they're going to get the job done. Georgia State is just absolute. Okay. Texas State at James Madison. Texas State, you're getting 21.5. There's an overreaction to the App State game where James Madison just basically came into their own and said, let's do it up, and I lost money. I wrote a letter. Check my video where I'm the first person in history that I know of in sports betting that's ever billed the losing team for a sports bet. I sent my copy of my ticket and an invoice to the accounts payable department at App State University Comptroller's office. Said, I want my money back, 28-3 up at halftime, and you pissed that game away. Here's the invoice, net 30 days. We'll see what happens. Never been done before in sports betting, but that's what the channel is here. And if you're not subscribed, I'm in Vegas now when you're watching this, and you should be a part of the channel. Hit that subscribe button and that bell for all notifications. 21.5. I don't, it's kind of probably a little bit of an overreaction here, but James Madison is really a good offensive team and a good defense. Okay. I think that it's a generous spread, but I think that they can cover it here. Oregon State and Utah. I'm going to have a little bit to say about this. Oregon State, you're getting 10.5. I know Utah's a wrecking machine, but Oregon State ain't no slouch, man. If you've seen Oregon State play, the two states, Washington State and Oregon State, they make me happy when they take the field. Okay, Massachusetts and Eastern Michigan. Who cares? Sorry if you're up to Northern Illinois, Ball State. I don't care. East Carolina, South Florida. I don't care. Alabama laying 17 points in Arkansas. I watched the Arkansas South Carolina game and doing a little triangulating on that. I was not, I came away from the game. I'm glad I cashed on the game. I had Arkansas. Everybody's talking about Rattler and a great quarterback, and then they get their ass chewed off South Carolina going forward. I don't know. I just have a feeling Alabama's going to easily cover this line down in Arkansas there tomorrow. Okay, this is where we get the curtain comes down and we see if Arkansas is the real deal this year. Okay, Wake Forest and Florida State +7. You get 7 points with Wake Forest. I wouldn't be surprised. I probably would take Wake Forest in the points. I mean, they're tough as nails as a school, and they hang in there. Northwestern and Penn State, man, I don't care. 26.5 points is a lot of points, but I guess I'd be apt to take the points in Northwestern on that, thinking that maybe Lightning might, I don't know, maybe the quarterback gets crunched for Penn State, the 10-year guy there just chucking the ball for Penn State, 10th year redshirt. Let's get through this stuff, guys. Let's get through this. Okay, what else did we get? What the hell happened here? Let's get through this quickly. We've got, and I'm just going to run. There's so damn many games here. Where the hell did all this go? Oh, it went defaulted. Hold on a minute, guys. Let's go down again. This thing just switched off here. Bear with me because I'm worth it. I'm winning, okay? Don't get your bowels in an uproar here. All right. Grab your nuts. Let's go forward here. Let's see. We've got Northwestern, Virginia Tech at North Carolina. Virginia Tech played pretty well when they were playing West Virginia there at home, but I just think Carolina is a better product. It's -9 there, 9 points. Oklahoma, Baylor, Oklahoma +2.5, Baylor -2.5 on that game. I'd be apt to be on Baylor to cover. I think they're a great team. Michigan State going to Maryland. Beware here. Michigan State's tired of getting their asses looking like fools out there. They are playing in Maryland. Maryland laying 7.5. Probably going to bet that side, but it might be a little juicier. Maryland might have given up a little bit on the field in that great efforts that they had against Michigan. Iowa State and Kansas. Iowa State laying 3 points. Right, Kansas, another team that's really not getting the uplift of respect, but Iowa State, I don't know, because I'd take Kansas in the 3 points. Fresno State at UConn. Fresno State laying 23.5. Who cares, man? Who cares? UConn, just take off the rest of the season. Get ready for basketball. Yeah. It's exciting. Just fold up the football program and get the go home. Okay, Ohio, Kent State, Golden Flash. How about Kent State, Golden Flash the first half? First 60% of the game against Ohio State, really. Kent State, Golden Flash, baby. They were right in that game hanging tough, and you could see on the Ohio guy, the coach is starting to look a little wild-eyed at the guys. Like, you do realize who's out. This is if we lose if we don't cover, if we don't win this game, it's all going to come down hard on all of us. So, Kent State -11 against Ohio. I guess I would go with the points there. Bowling Green, Akron, who cares? SMU, UC, University of Central Florida. SMU is a 3.5 point dog on that. I don't know if I agree with that. I've not been impressed with UCF, Miami, and Ohio Buffalo. Who cares? Central Michigan and Toledo. I can't believe Toledo is a 7-point favorite. Laying 7 against Central Michigan. I know Central Michigan, Rosie, they don't win, but goddamn, they play like they play. Okay, starting the first week of the year, and I just think that I don't like the points on this at all. And I'll tell you what I'm going to bet a bit: Texas A&M and Mississippi. Mississippi laying 3.5. I don't know. Kind of Texas A&M has been playing pretty well. Georgia State, Coastal Carolina. I don't think Georgia Southern. I mean, at Coastal Carolina, I think Coastal Carolina takes care of business. Florida Atlantic, North Texas. I don't care. Right, Florida Atlantic, really? Okay. South Alabama, Louisiana, Cal, and Washington. Cal going into Washington State. Just Washington State's laying 4 points here. I'm sorry, man. I'm so super impressed with Washington State. I know Cal's having a good year this year, but I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. 4 points. I'm gonna be all over Washington in that. Liberty and Old Dominion. I can't believe Liberty's only a 2.5 point favorite on that. It'll probably be on top of that. UTEP and Charlotte. UTEP -3. Everybody's all super excited about that great effort against Boise State. So that pulled that in a little bit. LSU and Auburn. I can see LSU. They're laying 8.5 and Auburn. Cincinnati and Tulane. Cincinnati laying 9.5 against Tulsa. Tulsa's a tough team. I don't know if I would be on Cincinnati 9.5 on that. Although the Bearcats, I love them. I absolutely love them. Troy and Western Kentucky. This is another game that I'm going to talk about. Arkansas State is the other one. North Carolina, Clemson. I would be on the Clemson side. 6.5 laying. Georgia, Missouri. Georgia's laying 28 points there. West Virginia, Texas. Texas is laying 10 points there. Virginia, Duke. This is another one that I'm going to be on. Indiana, Nebraska. Now, why in the hell? This line, Nebraska laying 5.5 assumes that Nebraska playing like great, right? Indiana's been a bit more solid. I'll take Indiana in the 5.5 points on that because Nebraska is it's a dumpster fire. This year, UAB and Rice, I don't care. San Jose State laying 3 against Wyoming. This, I'm going to talk about this one too. Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh -23. I think they'll cover that. Carolina, Arizona State, USC -26. I don't know if USC can cover that, even though Arizona State's going to be up for this game. Okay, and finally we got Stanford at Oregon. Oregon laying 17 points. I'm going to talk about this game for potential too. But let's get down to it. We got a lot to do. It's a big week here. I understand that. Okay, Kentucky and Ole Miss. Ole Miss laying 6.5. I'm going to take Ole Miss in that game. Washington at UCLA, laying 3 points there. I'm not uncomfortable with that. Utah State and BYU, 24 points. I'm gonna grab my sack and just hope that Utah State can keep it within 3 touchdowns or something like that. Okay, it's gonna be a tall order, but stop throwing the ball away, stop interceptions, stop fumbling. Okay. Minnesota, I'm taking Minnesota laying 11.5 against Purdue for reasons I said. I'm going to take TCU in the 6.5 points against Oklahoma. I think TCU is one tough team. Let's see, Maryland, I'm going to take lay the 7 points against Michigan State. Central Michigan, I'm going to take the 7.5 points against Toledo. Cal at Washington State, I'm going to take Washington State, and I'm going to lay the 3.5 points there. Virginia Tech and Duke. Duke played magnificently in Kansas. Okay. What a team that's just made enormous leaps from crap to good. Coming into Mike Nolan, whatever the hell is, like his name just totally blew out of mind. The new coach for Duke has been Mike Elko. The new coach for Duke has just turned the whole program around. Leonard is a second-year quarterback there, a true sophomore. It's just his confidence levels grow in every game. Duke doesn't make mistakes. Okay, they're just great fundamental football. I'm going to take the Duke and lay the 2.5 points. Stanford versus Oregon. I don't know. I just can't get excited. You know, I want to take Stanford so much. It's blown out to 17 now. It's steaming from 16.5 to 17, but it would just take an act of God. All right, Troy versus Western Kentucky. I'm going to take Troy in the 6 points here. I think it's time that somebody gave the Hilltoppers a little, you know, cut the legs out from under them for a game. It's not going to hurt them too much, but I just think Troy's a pretty good team. Oregon State at Utah. Utah, that's now gone in from 11 points. Utah 11 to 10.5. That's steaming in the other direction. I'm going to take Oregon State and the points that they give me on that because they are tough as nails. And San Jose State versus Wyoming. Wyoming's been playing well. I'm going to take Wyoming in the 3 points. Real quick, pro ball. Okay, my picks. Miami versus Cincinnati. Miami, you're getting 4 points going into Cincinnati. I'll take it. Need I say more? The Buffalo versus the Ravens. The Ravens are, you're getting 3.5 points. Now I'm going to take Buffalo in that because Buffalo's just, they're gonna be picking apart the Ravens secondary there. Detroit minus 4.5 versus the Seahawks. I think the Lions are a pretty damn good team this year. I think they're going to cover that at home. And lastly, I'm picking Denver. They're getting 2.5 points going into Las Vegas. People are pissed in Vegas. The wheels may be coming off that cart. And I think Denver might be the team to kind of knock them over the side here. And I love the way the coach on the post-game press conference, somebody said, do you think that we're going to make the playoffs this year? This is after the 0-3. And the coach is like, I think it was Jim Moore, playoffs. Shit. The way we're playing, we'll be lucky to win a game. That's my picks this week. We'll see you Sunday for a wrap-up or somewhere down the line there. As usual, make sure you subscribe. Hit the button. 14-9. Let's see if we can accentuate the positive here. Make some money. Get the bookies money here. And I will see you guys in Las Vegas. If you're not subscribed, hit the bell. I do a lot of different stuff on this channel besides the sports betting here. Have a great rest of your day, and it's almost kickoff time. Thumbs up, appreciated.